morning. It's Monday, June 2nd. Thanks for joining us on Up to the Minute. I'm Dr. Amy Tan, Dean of HCC's English and Communications, and I'm very pleased that my co-host, Dr. Nicholas Cox, the chair of HCC's History Department, is joining me this morning. Good morning, Nick.
Good morning. It's great to be back. I feel like you and I have missed a few episodes together. We've been going one-on-one with other co-hosts this past month.
That's right, opposite. We've been doing different commitments, trying to keep everything moving, and it sure is Monday today, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'd like to give a shout out to all the students and faculty who are starting summer classes today. Have a great first day.
Absolutely. And it's wonderful to, have the campuses filled again and see everyone walking around. It's always a fun day. And we are always live when HCC is in session. And we are live on HCCTV, but how can people find us, Nick?
Yeah, we are live on the Houston Community College District's Facebook page, and when it works, we're also on YouTube. We're on X, LinkedIn, and HCC TV at noon, 5, and 10 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Great. Well, I have a special guest here, and Nick will be back for the second segment. So hold on for just a minute. But I'm pleased to introduce our Mental Health Monday guest. He's our regular monthly guest from the Jung Center, and he's returning to discuss our shadows. Dr. Sean Fitzpatrick, Executive Director of the Jung Center of Houston, and our Mental Health Monday guest. Good morning, Sean.
Good morning, Amy. It's good to see you.
Great to see you. I always look forward to the opportunity to hear from you and talk to you. Today, you're talking about shadows. And it seems like everywhere we look in social media these days, someone is telling us that we need to do shadow work to improve our mental health and well-being. And before we get to how we may or may not work with it, what does shadow work mean in a psychological sense, and where did this even come from?
Yeah, what are we talking about? Well, it comes. So the idea of like so many ideas in psychology, which is really still quite a young discipline. It's a metaphor, right? And it comes from elsewhere. In this case, it's an image that Carl Jung grabbed as a way of talking about. There's parts of ourselves that we can't see, those parts of ourselves that are present and maybe show up from time to time in our behavior and our worldview, but we don't really necessarily notice. We might be ashamed of or feel guilt about. It has been fascinating to watch shadow show up in TikTok and social media. If there are all these influencers are telling you that you need to do shadow work, and I'm thrilled about it. Very surprised. It's been fun to see this 100 and some odd year old theory start to show up again in popular culture. Also, not necessarily in the most accurate ways.
Social media.
yeah, shocking. So again, it's this. It's speaking to the reality that most of who we are is actually not accessible to consciousness. And this is something that, since the dawn of, these Freud and Jung and these people who are interested in the idea of the unconscious has really been borne out in neuroscience. Neuroscience is suggesting, actually, no, that's right. There's so much of who we are is below the level of our awareness. So, sometimes shadow gets used as a way of talking about these undesirable traits or desires that we might have that are really, we kind of understand to be negative. Jung understood it to be a little bit more neutral than that. The reality is that any of us, when we stand in front of a light or when we show up in a space with this light, we're going to cast a shadow, right? So it's a fundamental part of being human, and in a psychological sense, it is as well.
Yeah, so I'm just, processing what you're saying and thinking about there are parts of us that like the word, so he's using the word shadow, and is it a reflection, or is it more like understated, or is it more that like there's these parts of ourselves that are maybe not dominant? Am I getting that right, or is it a little bit different?
It's all of that. You're doing a great job of talking about it. And I would say, speaking to the lit professor, that Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde was very much a part of his thinking around shadow. The idea is that and this is how it tends to get framed as something that's darker or more negative, that there are parts of ourselves that we're denying and that end up getting acted out anyway. But it's a natural part of just being human, that the parents that we're born to, the community that we're born into, the religion we're born into, so on and so forth, that there are going to be certain things that our context it wants to see happen, like encourages in our behavior, and other things that it would discourage or not see as valuable. And so we are naturally going to collect those things. I think a good example of this is a creative child and a really expressive child who's maybe raised by parents who are maybe a little bit more reserved, maybe introverted, also maybe invested in order and structure, that they're not going to know exactly how to live with that child, like how to really support that child's way of being in the world. I think this happens quite a bit. And so that part of the child can then kind of be pushed back, and they learn quickly that even though like they're too loud, there's something wrong with them because they're too loud, or they're showing up in ways that are disordered, and it sort of becomes shameful, or rather than being just a normal expression of who they are. Yeah.
That's fascinating. And you're really speaking to culture too, right? I hear you talking about culture, and I'm fascinated by your reference to Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and this sort of evil connotation, or it's lurking in the shadow. And so, like, should I be afraid? Like, should I be worried about those like shadow impulses that
Yeah.
kind of show up, and I'm just not even like, who, is this isn't who I am. This isn't a part of me. So like, what should I think about that?
Right. That's often how we experience it. If you've ever heard the expression, "Oh, the devil made me do it," or more commonly, just like, I don't know where that came from. I don't know, if it's like a sudden burst of anger that comes out of nowhere, or, again, like just engaging in a behavior that you're really determined to not identify with. I think we get a lot of, laughs at people's expense, politicians' expense, and others, when they have a very, very rigid, moral perspective that they're putting out into the public, but then you discover that their personal lives are more complicated more complicated than that, right? Again, it's not it can be that getting in touch with our shadow is actually allowing us to access something that is really important to integrate into our lives. It's fundamentally about ways of living that we haven't been able to bring into the world. And sometimes that might look like aggression, right? So, if we actually come to terms with the fact that we're naturally going to experience a desire to assert ourselves in the world, or we're going to experience moments where we feel aggressive, and understand that to be human, right, and a natural survival mechanism that we all have, then we can, without having to act it out in a way that's potentially damaging, right, we can make more conscious choices about it. So there's really, in doing shadow work, it's meant to be a kind of liberation, a little liberatory, right? It's not about cutting off a part of ourselves that we determine as evil, but really kind of understanding what is valuable about it, and finding a way to live with it, to bring it into to bring it into our lives, and hopefully to live with a little bit more humility. I think that empathy often is a great result of attending to shadow. Yeah.
So really recognizing it, not feeling the shame, maybe working with a therapist to call it what it is, and accept it. I mean, this is, and recognizing that we're complex. We're complex human
Yeah.
beings. We're not one thing. I do think it's a conversation with culture and cultural norms.
Yeah.
So this is fascinating. I really am excited to hear, and maybe I think, a topic we need to delve further
Yeah.
into. But before I let you go, I want to know what's going on at the Jung Center.
Yeah, so our summer, this is just, I think for y'all, this is the beginning of the summer semester. Today is the beginning of our summer semester. I'll mention and so you can go to our website, junghouston.org, JUNGHouston.org to learn more. I'll mention two things that are happening on Saturday. We have a wonderful workshop called Collaging the Feminine with Bridget Fernandez. It will happen here at the Jung Center between 9:30 and 1 p.m. And then after that, we have a new show up in our gallery. It's called Visions, and it's by our students and members. And we have an art salon where some of the artists come and talk about their work. And that's free and open to the public. It's between 2 and 4 on Saturday.
Awesome. That sounds like so much fun. Thank you so much, Dr. Sean Fitzpatrick, Executive Director of the Jung Center of Houston and our Mental Health Monday guest. Thanks for coming back.
You bet. My pleasure.
We'll see you next time.
All right.
And we'll have all of the information in our post after the show for our audience out there. Coming up after a quick commercial break, Nick will return with our second special guest. Come right back.
At Houston Community College, we make your lessons matter. Open the door to real-world education, where passions become careers. Find out more at hccs.edu and let your success take flight.
That one day at PE when they were like yelling at me and then you just linked arms with me, I don't think you know how much like that helped me. I finally like knew that I had somebody.
All right. Well, welcome back. Welcome back, everybody. We are here today with Etta from HCC, and we're going to talk to her about the Symposium in a bit, Juneteenth events happening around the campus. But we'd like to welcome Etta back to the show. Welcome, Ms. Smith. Thank you for coming and joining us today.
Good morning, and thank you for the invitation. I'm happy to be here.
You know, we wanted to talk to you about a couple of things that are related here at the college, and the first is the symposium, but actually we want to talk to you a little bit about Juneteenth in Missouri City. For our viewers out there, our audience members out there, can you remind them what is Juneteenth and why do we commemorate it?
Absolutely. On June 19th, 1865, the Juneteenth word name comes from the 19th of June and June. So Juneteenth, which was actually about 2.5 years after President Abraham Lincoln had signed the Emancipation Proclamation, which freed enslaved Africans in America. Troops from the Union arrived at Galveston Bay, led by General Gordon Granger, delivering the message that the Emancipation Proclamation had been signed and that the people were free. Well, it was Juneteenth that day, 2.5 years later. That's why that celebration has that name, and that's the significance of it. These were the last people to find that they'd been emancipated. It was Texas was somewhat a remote area at the time. So that has been the situation since 1865, which actually the freedom came in 1863.
So I want to note that there are lots of celebrations of Juneteenth around the country and Galveston and onward, but I understand that Missouri City has one of the oldest continuous celebrations in Texas. Can you tell us a little bit about their commemoration events?
Okay, actually, Missouri City was one of the sites where the troop came to read, well, on the day that it happened, that the Emancipation Proclamation was read to the people, actually at the Freedom Tree, which is an historic site in Missouri City, which has now become a park. There's this tree where everybody gathered to hear the reading of the Emancipation Proclamation. Now, Actually, probably the oldest known Juneteenth celebration took place in Galveston in 1866, the one documented one. And later in 1872, a group of Black leaders purchased the property that is now Emancipation Park in Houston, Texas, for the purpose of celebrating Juneteenth. So yes, Missouri City's celebrations were very old back then. But in 2002, the Juneteenth Celebration Foundation was formed, and we began celebrating Juneteenth in Missouri City and have done it consistently since 2002.
Well, I understand our HCC Southwest Workforce Symposium is happening soon with a job fair. And I wanted to talk a little bit about how we're going to have that connected to Juneteenth observations. But can you give us some sort of basic who, what, where, when, why for the job fair? Talk a little bit about that first.
Yes, the job fair, which is a cooperative effort between Houston Community College, the City of Missouri City, and founded and produced by the Missouri City Juneteenth Celebration in cooperation with the others and other sponsors. It will take place June 20th this year at Houston Community College, Southwest College at the Missouri City campus. The symposium will be held from 11 to 3 p.m. And we're actually expecting over 60 employers. So those are individuals who potentially will hire at the symposium. At last year's symposium, we had over 600 people. So we anticipate another good turnout. At the symposium, Houston Community College will present information about career paths and training programs. There will be individuals from the City of Missouri City who will talk about employment with the City of Missouri City. And then there will be employers from companies throughout the area, some of whom are supporters of Missouri City Juneteenth and some who just interested in hiring. So we know that at that event, it's the potential for meeting an employer and securing a job is real.
Well, let's bring it back to Juneteenth for a moment, because I understand that this job fair and workforce symposium, it has a theme this year. Can you tell me a little bit about its theme?
Okay, the theme is celebrating Juneteenth with empowerment, economic opportunities, and honor of freedom and progress. That is representative always of what we would hope to have happen, that we will indeed be empowered and that opportunities will be made available. And that is what the job fair does.
So with the job fair at the Missouri City campus and the Missouri City Juneteenth Celebration Foundation events, I understand there's a lot of opportunities for HCC students, staff, and faculty to join in on the commemoration. Tell me about this parade. How does the parade work into these events?
Okay, actually, the parade is one of the last events. The events for the Juneteenth Celebration Foundation began on the 13th of June and end on the 22nd, so it's spread out. The parade is on June 21st, which is Saturday, and each year HCC has a float in the parade. And a couple of years ago, Dr. Madeline Barilla was the Grand Marshal for the parade. People come from all around and line the streets. We see thousands of people at the parades, and HCC enters a float. So this partnership has existed even before we had the job fair. Houston Community College has been a supporter of the Missouri City Juneteenth celebration.
Well, you know, in my work on the Fort Bend County Historical Commission, I've had the opportunity to get to know Commissioner Grady Prestige, and
Yes.
as you know, his wife Pharrell works here at HCC as well, and so we've always had a Missouri City HCC connection, and it's great to see that continuing here at these events, because I know he's been instrumental in some African American preservation efforts down in the area.
Yes, I know Commissioner Prestige and his wife Farrell, and they are active and supportive of the Juneteenth Celebration Foundation as well.
Well, I know we've got some other events on the calendar. There will be a community service awards gala, some family night outs, and movies in the park, things like that. I would also want to communicate to you and everybody else in our audience that various HCC colleges have Juneteenth events coming up, in the Northwest and Southwest, Southeast. I've been working to plan on the online college event. I think we have a meeting tomorrow to finalize some of the details on that. And what I hope is that here on HCC TV, we can kind of support and broadcast all the information about all these Juneteenth events over the next couple of weeks. Well, Ms. Smith, I want to thank you so much for taking the time today to talk to us about the Missouri City Celebration and the Southwest College Workforce Symposium. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. After 23 years of this celebration, we're happy to be thriving. So thank you for having us.
Sounds good. And anybody out there in our audience can find more information about these events in the notes after our show. Well, after a quick commercial break, Amy will be back to talk to our to share events and updates with me.
At Houston Community College, we make your lessons matter. Open the door to real-world education, where passions become careers. Find out more at hccs.edu and let your success take flight.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Today I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
And we're back with some news and announcements. We're going to start off with Snow Better Way to start. At Northeast, there will be some snow cones available. That sounds really fun. HCC Northeast will offer a welcome back event for students today, featuring free snow cones, good vibes, and helpful campus resources. They can connect with fellow students, meet student life staff, and cool down between classes. That's going to be from 11 a.m. to noon today, Monday, June 2nd, at our HCC Northline campus. Check our post after the show for more information. And Southeast is also having a welcome back event.
That's right. That's right. It's the first day of summer session. So welcome back, students. Southeast Student Life will be welcoming students. They officially are saying welcome back at the Rec Sports and Student Life campus building. They're going to offer snacks, music, and games to help students face the first week of the summer session. That's tomorrow from 11 to noon on Tuesday, June 3rd at the HCC Eastside Student Life Outdoor Patio. Check our post after the show for more information.
That's a great building. I've been in that building. It's
Next time we're there, we can play some foosball.
That's right. That's right. Well, and if you didn't sign up for summer classes and you're still thinking about how you might want to change your life, you can check out the ESL GED orientation. HCC is hosting an ESL GED orientation in partnership with the Association for the Advancement of Mexican Americans. That's the AAMA. Scholarships are available. They include English as a second language, Text Chase, which is what we used to call the GED, and HCC's Career for You Academy, which includes workforce training. If you want to learn more about this, come out at 5:30 p.m. on Wednesday, June 4th. That is going to be located at the AAMA Sanchez Charter School. So check the post after the show for all of that information. And we have some summer camps going on.
That's right. We are calling all innovators. The Metaverse Camp needs students. HCC's Next Gen AI and Metaverse Camp is said to not just be another summer camp, but a chance for students to design, build, and innovate with the latest tools shaping tomorrow's digital universe. This is Monday through Friday, June 9th through 13th, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at our Central College campus. Spots are limited, so please check our post after the show.
I happen to know that that is a very exciting camp, and that one of the kids was complaining on the first day, I don't want to be here. And then when they, at the end of the camp, they were like, wait, can't I keep coming back? So sign your kids up. We're also having a wonderful presentation from our drama department. It's the GI60 Summer Drama Practicum. HCC's Media, Visual, and Performing Arts Center of Excellence, along with Screaming Media Productions, is presenting the annual GI60 Houston, featuring selected 1-minute plays from around the world. They'll be performed by HCC drama students. Also super amazing. I love seeing these performances. That's going to be 7:30 p.m. Wednesday and Thursday, July 2nd and 3rd. So you have some time to plan. They will be performing at HCC Southwest Fine Arts Center in Stafford. These are free. The production is free. Reservations are encouraged, and check the post after the show for more information.
All right. Well, we just want to let everybody know that fall registration is open, and also we have later sessions in the summer starting in July. So registration for summer classes remains open as well. So if you're thinking about fall classes, it is not too early, and you still have time to look into those summer classes to stay on track. HCC classes are offered in a variety of programs, semester lengths, and a range of modalities, including traditional classes in person, online anytime classes that are asynchronous, online on a schedule classes that have virtual meetings, and we have hybrid classes and hybrid labs that mix a little bit of both. So to learn about our HCC programs, start dates, and options to cover your costs, go to hccs.edu/apply.
Thanks for all of that, Nick. It was great being with you today.
It's good to do this together again.
Yes, back together again. Well, for everyone else, coming up on Tuesday, a student will discuss how HCC contributes to landscaping in Houston and the role grants have played in those efforts. And for Tasty Tuesday, Houston's Michelin-starred Indian fine dining destination, Musafir, will discuss the launch of its summer 2025 menu. So come back and see us. Thanks for joining us on Up to the Minute, and we'll see you next time.